everyone, my name is Vakulich, and I am the 2021 East Central Iowa Honey Queen. I travel around Johnson County and the surrounding areas talking and telling people about bees, beekeeping, and honey. Today, we're going to talk about bees and what they do for us and how we can help them. The first thing that bees do for us, and it is the most important thing they do, is they help pollinate. They do this in two ways. They help directly pollinate, which helps to produce fruits and vegetables, and they help indirectly pollinate by helping other parts of our agriculture. You see this bee here? She is directly pollinating. What that means is she comes to a flower that has nectar. She buries herself and tries to get to the nectar. In the meantime, the pollen catches on her furry little body and sticks to her. When she is finished collecting the nectar from this flower, she will probably proceed to this flower, where she will go again and try to get the nectar. But the nice thing is the pollen from this flower will travel also to this flower and mix with this flower's pollen. This allows for the flower to be pollinated. And the bee is happy because she got the nectar, and the flowers are happy because they got pollinated. Another way that bees help us is by indirectly pollinating. One way they do this is by pollinating the alfalfa that is in the field. The farmer comes and cuts that alfalfa down, and then he takes that and feeds it to his cows. These cows give milk, and the milk we drink to help us grow, and also we can make ice cream, yogurt, or even butter from the milk. So the bees are helping our dairy industry in kind of an indirect way. Another thing that bees help is they produce honey. They put honey in these containers to be stored. But see, they get honey by getting the nectar from these flowers over here. Remember? They take this nectar and bring it back to their hive, where they have these containers that are called beeswax cells. In these containers, they put the nectar in, and then they use their wings to dehydrate the nectar until it's about 14 to 16% moisture content, and then they cap it, like putting a lid over it, and that becomes honey. This is one of their foods that they like to eat, and this preserves the honey so it can last a long time. And also, bees give beeswax. It's these little cells or containers that they put their honey in. Beeswax is used in a lot of different cosmetics like lipstick and lip balm. And also, we can use the beeswax to burn as candles, which provide very nice light for someone who needs it, especially in times of power outages. So how can we help these honeybees who help us do so much? Well, we can plant flowers, of course. In the springtime, we can plant flowers that will grow in the springtime, summertime, and fall to help these bees survive the winter and also produce honey for us. In the spring, the bees are just getting started from a long, hard, cold winter like the ones we have in Iowa here. Right now, the bees are just coming out of their hives and looking for new food because they're almost out of their food stores, like their honey that is in these containers. During the springtime, there are not a lot of flowers that bloom. In fact, the first flower that does bloom is called the dandelion. Yes, that dandelion that is in the grass that grows among the grass that is considered a weed, and people try to get rid of it. The bees look for the dandelion because that is the first source of food for them that they can have after a long, hard winter. In the summertime, there are a lot of fruits and vegetables that bloom, like tomatoes or even watermelon. But the problem with that is they can't rely on that for their summer food either, because these plants only bloom for a short time and then they're all gone. So what you can do to help during the summertime is by planting lavender or catmint. This plant blooms pretty much all summer long and allows for the bees to have a source of nectar to collect honey and get pollen. And also, it allows for other pollinators to be able to have a source of food as well. In the fall, we are harvesting all of our fruits, vegetables, and other corn, beans, other crops too. So the bees don't have a lot of things to do. So what we can do is we can plant goldenrod or asedium. These plants bloom throughout the fall and allow the bees to get their last sources of nectar for the hard winter that will occur. You can also plant vegetables. This will allow the bees to get as much nectar as they possibly can during the summer. If you plant cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, watermelon, or pumpkin, the bees will have fun pollinating those flowers and allowing them to get nectar and you to reap the benefits of a bountiful harvest. Did you know that a watermelon flower needs over 20 visits from a bee to be able to produce a watermelon? And the more times that bee lands on that flower and pollinates it, the sweeter that watermelon will be. You can also help those honeybees by limiting the amount of pesticides or other chemicals that you use. When you use pesticides to kill certain plants or even to get rid of insects, you are in turn trying to kill these bees. If we go back to this picture right here, the bee lands on the flower where she gets the nectar. Now imagine that there was in here a pesticide or insecticide sprayed on this. Well, the bee's not going to know that there is a poison that's sitting here, so she will go and collect the nectar and also collect the poison. She will bring it back to her hive where she will put it in these containers here. Also, she will feed it to the other bees and she will eat it herself and she will feed the baby bees. Now, once these toxic levels start to build, they start to die because they are poisoning themselves with it. So if we can, we need to limit the amount of pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides that we use on our lawns to help protect our pollinators. We can also protect our pollinators and help support them by supporting our local beekeepers. These beekeepers tend to bees and ensure that they have happy, healthy lives. They also sell the honey, and that's how we can reap the benefits. You can also support beekeeping organizations like the Iowa Honey Producers Association. These organizations help to spread the word about bees and beekeeping and how they're important to our society. They also lobby in Des Moines to the lawmakers there to help pass laws that protect bees and other pollinators. You can also help to support the bees by becoming a beekeeper yourself. Beekeeping is one of the most rewarding aspects of taking care of pollinators. You can join a local beekeeping club like the East Central Iowa Beekeepers Association. They have quarterly meetings in which we learn about bees, how to take care of them, and new research that came out. They can also help the younger beekeepers or the newer beekeepers learn how to take care of these bees. If you are a teenager and really would like to get a set of bees, you can apply for the Iowa Honey Producers Youth Scholarship Program. This allows for a young beekeeper, a teenager, to get paired up with a mentor who's had bees for a long time. They give this teenager, this new beekeeper I should say, a hive, bees, a suit, gloves, hive tool, and also a smoker, and many other tools that they give for this young beekeeper to start. The nice thing is that the mentor helps the young beekeeper learn how to take care of bees. And this helps the young beekeeper to learn more very quickly from off the mistakes that the older, more mature beekeeper did. So let's recap on what these bees do for us. Remember, they pollinate directly and indirectly. Directly by pollinating the flowers and they produce fruit, or indirectly by pollinating the alfalfa that is in the field and they give that alfalfa to the cows, which in turn give us our dairy products like milk, cheese, and ice cream. They also give us honey, a natural sweetener, and beeswax for moisturizers, especially in cosmetics like lipstick and lip balm. So how can we help the bees? We can plant flowers in the spring, summer, and fall so that they bloom all year round, and that allows for the bees to have a source of nectar and not to worry about their next source. You can also plant vegetables that the bees will like and keep them busy so that they can get nectar enough for winter and for us. You can also reduce the amount of chemicals that you use in your backyard, like herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides. You can also support beekeepers and beekeeping organizations like the Iowa Honey Producers Association or your local beekeeper by buying his local honey. You can also become a beekeeper yourself and join wonderful local organizations like the East Central Iowa Beekeepers Association, or to be in the Youth Scholarship Program of the Iowa Honey Producers Association. All right, so are there any questions that I can answer? Well, honey actually never spoils. Because of its very low moisture content, it provides an unfriendly environment for bacteria, viruses, and fungi to grow. These organisms need water to grow, and honey only has 14 to 16% moisture content, which makes it a dehydrated area, kind of like a desert for the viruses, fungi, or bacteria to grow. So honey really doesn't spoil, ever. I have gotten stung before, but you have to know that bees are very gentle and docile creatures. They really don't want to sting because they have only one stinger and then they die if they use it. They only use it if they feel threatened or if they need to protect their hive. One of the ways that you can help protect the bees in this area is if you see a bee, do not freak out. It's okay. If you don't freak out, the bee doesn't freak out, and the bee doesn't sting you, and you're happy because you didn't get stung, and the bee is happy because she was able to live. All right. right, since there are no more questions, thank you so much for allowing me to come and talk to you about bees.